Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is more of a concept video than an actual match video. Um, I've been struggling this month with trying to figure out a deck that that I can consistently win with, because a lot of the top decks, they have a ridiculous amount of gold, rare, and mythic cards in them. So, for example, you look at Orzhov tokens, Dedicated Dollmaker, that's the rare. Overlord of the Mistmoors, that's the rare. And so on. I'd say that's one of the top decks in the format. And, I just haven't been feeling like spending money on this game recently. Now, I know this month is a standard play-in, but that really doesn't interest in me. As far as what I'm playing, I'm trying to get Heist to work. And Heist is one of those decks that I feel has a chance against the top decks. Here I'm playing Triumphant Getaway. I know it has Flash, but I'm worried about counter spells. But, with Heist, you can pull out key cards in the combo with your Heist. So I think that's what I'm going for. But with Heist, one of the weaknesses I've noticed is that it doesn't have a good card advantage, I guess is the word, but it tends to discard a lot of cards with Impetuous Lootmonger. Plus, a lot of the cards you do play are 1-for-1. So, for example, your removal spells. Now, here I'm running Nowhere to Run. Weave the Nightmare, that's the typical Heist card. And those are usually 1-for-1. Weave the Nightmare, it can go for multiple cards so long as you have a permanent that your opponent owns in play. So there's a card that I found. I was looking, what's in red, blue, and black? And, can let Heist play cards again. And that's where I stumbled upon Festival of Embers. Now, I'll talk about it more when it comes up, but right now I'm just focusing on controlling the board. I want to keep Weave the Nightmare for my opponent's big spells and non-creature spells. And this is another card I'm trying with Heist, Hearth Elemental. Now, because I'm running a lot of instants and sorceries, I do get the cost reduction with Hearth Elemental. So yeah, this is why I was saving Weave the Nightmare. But with Hearth Elemental, you discard your hand and you can draw 2 cards. And usually when your hand's very low, like it is now, it turns into a draw 2 that you can play as a creature if you choose to. Now, something interesting you can do with Festival of Embers is that you can replay adventure spells from your graveyard. So say, for example, you have Hearth Elemental in your graveyard, you drop Festival of Embers, you can pay 2 to discard your hand and draw 2. But it's also a big creature you can play. And you can see I'm running 1 copy of the Inn that lets you fetch a card with adventure from your graveyard. Okay, so that's the Festival of Embers. With this deck in particular, a lot of the heists you want to go for is removal, key combo pieces, and win conditions. So as you can see, I've got 4 removal spells between my hand, my virtual hand, and once festival comes down, I can reuse a lot of those spells from my graveyard. The thing about Festival of Embers is you don't want to drop it early, because whenever a card would go to your graveyard, it gets exiled instead. So you want to drop it once you have a decent number of instants and sorceries in your graveyard. So, another thing to note, when you're heisting, you want to look out for cards that, when they die or when you craft with some, um, they'll go back under the owner's control. So you'd actually be helping the opponent out uh, by doing those additional effects. So you can see how I was considering, oh, let me flip over Tithing Blade. Oh, nope, that would go back to the opponent. Here, I think my play is, keep some counter spells removal open, but at the end of the turn, I can use that edge wall in to bring back the elemental. Now, at this point, I'm convinced the opponent doesn't have any counter spells, so I'm gonna start heisting, start removing with Weave the Nightmare. And here, if the opponent counters, well, I have another Weave the Nightmare. So remove and heist. Hello? Oh. So yeah, there's some graveyard removal. That's going away right away. Now, as you can see, I don't run many creatures at all. I believe I run 8 in total. Now, the other one you don't get to see, it's some Fear of something, but it's the blue one that, as an additional cost, you return a permanent to the owner's hand. I think it's a permanent you control to its owner's hand. Anyway, I use that to bounce Nowhere to hide, and on occasion, Triumphant Getaway to get more heist triggers. And it's a 2/3 flying for 2, so it's a decent creature. Here I figure, okay, let me Weave the Nightmare. Heist more. Okay, and another thing to note is that Festival of Embers, the flashback effect, I'm gonna call it a flashback in quotation, because you can only play instants and sorceries from your graveyard during your turn. So here, I feel I have enough removal. Let me get a win condition, right? I'm not sure what Rune Carved Obelisk is going to do for the opponent. He's pretty mana flooded, so I went with more removal. Okay, so here, with Impetuous Lootmonger, if you discard a card with Festival in play, that's going to be exile. So I just want to show that here too. more heisting, and I can also Hearth Elemental. So yeah, there is no round 2, so I just went ahead and just cut that out. But it's a deck that seems interesting. I want to play it a bit more just to see if I can get a respectable win rate with it. I know I've already lost once versus Boros Rats. I'll put that video up later on. But yeah, I'll see how it goes. It's a pretty cool idea. So with that said, that's my social X Cardboard Capitan, Moxfield Cardboard Capitan. I'll see you in the future.